1, 2.
You should have been a podcast, rocking all the
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. It should have been a podcast, episode 159. What we learned over this week was the more that you see, the more that you know. And this has nothing to do with conspiracy theorist accuracy. This has to do with all of the things we've seen since 2015 when Trump started when he came down the golden escalator, and then all of a sudden the rumor mill started up, and then we see it debunked and debunked and debunked and yet
Time
debunked
after
again,
time.
and now we're at a point where we're going to see the event that created the 2020 election in Charlottesville, Virginia, proven to be a paid propaganda activity by Southern Poverty Law Center. The 2020 election was
rigged.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You did.
Come on now.
Well, JC, do you have any SPLC stories?
Well, as I looked into this, I'm having difficulty separating SPLC from Democrats throughout history. I mean, as you first saw when the slaves got freed, you had Democrats running hoaxes for lynchings to get black men hung because they lied and said that they were chasing after white women. And there's an and we go through history with lynchings and Jim Crow. And I mean, even so much as when the FBI was run by Hoover, you had COINTELPRO, which was an op by the FBI to demonize black guys and a hoax to get the blood moving. Now, I will say in '64, if people have always said, "Oh well, the party switched," well, no, they really didn't. They still used racial hoaxes, but they started doing it like in reverse. And the Southern Poverty Law Center is the latest iteration of it. I mean, you can even go back to Juicy Smollett and Bubba Wallace and all the rest of this nonsense, even Michael Brown. Race is always that stick of dynamite that they look to light, and however they can move events into a situation that makes them racial, that's what they do. And the SPLC was only the last step in, hey, we don't have enough hate, so we got to pay for hate. So we can pay the Klan guy $300,000 so we can get 130 million in donations to fight the hate that we just paid for. And that's what happened. That's what happened in Charlottesville. And Sean, before this show goes past 10 after, I want to say this. When Charlottesville started to lose steam, you had J6. It's the same thing. All right? That's what they do. And when you see all the elements of this in place in any situation, be it Trayvon Martin, be it Michael Brown, be all of this nonsense, it's always the same.
I don't disagree. Uh,
How could you? You've watched it.
I
And
want to come from another place. Though, let me ask you: when's the last time you met a white, middle-aged, or older male that was actually racist?
I don't know one.
Wednesday.
Well, did you?
Yeah.
All right, we got to hear.
Yep. So
Paul, the floor is yours, brother.
yeah. So I took my side by side up to the Exxon station to fill it with gas, and so here in Hawkins we have Jarvis Christian College, which is a black,
Yep.
HBU, college. And there's tons of, college kids and stuff. And they're like college kids, right? And so I got my side by side up at the pump, and then this guy in a F-250 pulls up facing me, and he's filling his up. And then this carload of those students from Jarvis, they pull up on the other side of the island, and they, they got their music playing loud, and they're smoking and I mean, they're just having a great time. You know what I mean? And
That's what they
so
do.
they go in
Yeah.
there, and they go into the store to get drinks or whatever, and this guy was looking for an ally, right? So he looks at me and he's like, "Look at that shit."
Okay.
Yeah. And so I try not to make eye contact with, I'm looking at my gas nozzle and stuff. He said, hey, and I look at him. Look at that shit, man. They leave the motherfucking car running. They go into the store, got the stereo blasting. Hate them motherfuckers.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, pal, you do you.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they're teenagers. They're teenage college kids.
I remember there was time. So this would be like in the 90s, in small town Indiana. I would run into that type of
Yeah.
racism, like racism against black people. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Outside, once I get to 2020, once I get to the 2000s,
Right.
I'm in college, and the racism has already reversed. And so there was fraternities you weren't allowed to enter or join because
Yeah.
they were for black people.
Yeah.
And they would come out onto the quad or the promenade on weekend nights and harass
Yeah.
white women.
Oh, really?
Harass, yes. And then
Oh yeah.
and then post that, I really haven't. Other than your experiences, I totally believe it. That's authentic to me from the experiences I remember from the 1990s. I don't run into that much anymore because we're in such a sheltered HR world that we're like people are like, I know I just better shut my mouth. Well,
Yeah.
even if they think it, I better shut my mouth. Otherwise, I'm going to get unemployed.
Yeah.
Even though
And
that
maybe
motherfucker,
unalived.
that motherfucker's being racist as shit to me. But
Yeah.
I just have to
Right.
sit here and take it.
You got to take it. Yeah. No, I got
I'll,
that.
I'll give you one, Sean, and it's particularly galling. I was working in New York, and I thought I learned a lot there until 2020. Then I realized I didn't know anything. But no. I mean, remember, as background, folks, 30 years of pharmacist, uh, figuring that we were all on the same team trying to help people, and then figuring out that 80% of what I was giving them was poison. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So no, with that, being said, I was Captain America back then in 1996 or whatever. We go to lunch with this guy. He was a New York City guy. I mean, remember, I worked in Jersey, so I'm a guy. Love going into Manhattan. We talked about shows and everything else, and he started talking about welfare. And I said, I honestly don't understand why my house payment is 1,400 principal and interest every month, and I find out that a Section 8 voucher is 1,500. And they say, well, that we wouldn't
No.
want to limit their choice of housing.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, my choice of housing is limited by how much is on my check. What do you
Yeah.
mean you don't want to limit someone else's choice of housing? Shouldn't they be working?
Yeah.
And we went round and round, and he was good enough. He was one of the few left wingers that you'd ever meet that would go all the way to the end. And going all the way to the end with JD is a very unpleasant experience. And I finally, we finally got to the end, and I said, "Don't you believe that behavioral change happens when people hit the wall?" And I said, so if you offer them a hammock, they're not going to change anything because they're going to figure out how to live in the hammock. But if you give them enough subsistence perpetual that they have to struggle, and they can see that doing something will really turn things around. Don't you think that that's motivational? He says, yeah, for you and me, that's true. And then he said the quiet part out loud. He said,
Yeah.
what about the
Yeah.
but what about the blacks? And I said, oh, you fucking racist. You son of a bitch. I mean, I flipped. Honest to God, I said, I knew all you bastards were racist. I mean, you've been racist forever. And I said, and you still are. Anyway. And my research on SPLC and the history of this crap bears that out. Anytime electoral advantage or something needs to happen, they light the fire of racial arson. Look up the history of the Tulsa race riots in 21. It's always the same. It's the left wing arranging for the events. Okay. I can't hear you. Am I off? Am I gone?
No, you're good. We got you.
All right. Sean looks muted.
Huh?
I would unmute him if
Yeah,
I
I
could.
can't hear you, Sean. Still can't hear you.
Can I unmute him? I've got a mouse. No, I
No.
can't unmute him.
Yeah, I can't. No, I can't unmute him either. You're on permanent mute, Sean.
Sean, we love you, man. We want to hear those beautiful pipes. I think he's gonna have to rejoin, Paul. All right.
But he's the host. If he rejoins, we all got to rejoin.
No, I think he can come back. I mean, this is
really?
a new studio.
Oh, okay.
So he's gone. We can still talk. Here he comes. There he goes.
Should we
Now he's
allow him
unmuted.
in, or
There
what do
he
you
is.
think?
All right.
Sean.
So, if you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Sean.
No, still can't hear me?
No.
All right. Well, I'll be back.
I can still see him, but he's not green.
I'll be back.
Sean, it's not easy being green. How are things in Texas, Paul?
I'm trying to. I can't. I don't know what's going on, JC.
I don't either. This is my last night in the provisional studio. I'm moving to the new permanent studio next week.
Are you really?
Yeah.
You got it all built out and everything?
No. It'll look a lot like this one.
But you're going anyway.
I'm going anyway. But obviously I need to be out of here by the 30th, so that's how it works.
No, I got you.
we're going to do the walkthrough. And Paul, I got to tell you, moving at this age is the worst experience you can ever have.
Yep.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
resisted it as long as I could.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
here he comes. He's green. He's green this time. He's
What's up,
green.
buddy?
Yay!
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
Well, thanks for carrying that through. I'm not really sure what technical difficulties it was, but sometimes you just got to reboot.
Sean,
And
it's not easy being green, brother.
yeah. Well, anyways, all I was gonna get at is that racism has become big business, the
It is.
multi-million billion dollar
Dude.
business. Go ahead.
No, I gotta tell you, man. Even back in the and so we go to this big, vanilla rally. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just some,
Yes.
Florida Blue Dog Democrats, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, this is this, and then we need to get along and all that kind of stuff." And then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we escorted him to an NAACP local chapter in South Florida, and it was all, "Yeah, them motherfuckers, man. Yeah, them motherfuckers ain't right, man. No, the fuck the white man and shit." And I'm like,
Paul, I got to
"Dude,
tell
you're
you,
so full of shit, bro."
some of the worst experiences I've ever had have come when, there was a nice bar to go to where you could relax with business associates. And then the neighborhood changed. And the next time you went back there, I said, "Hey, I know a pretty good place." You go in there, and then people are just yelling, "Booty, booty, booty."
Yeah.
Okay, time to get out. Yeah. Or is on Animal House. You remember Boone?
Yeah, it's like when Otis Day of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? When the boys went in, they're like, Otis loves us.
That's gonna be
And they
great.
walk
Otis
in,
loves
and everyone's like,
And then the dude says to him, "If I were you, I'd be leaving."
Oh, listen. Just to round that out, we're not moving on from the subject. We're going to talk about it for a long time, but not currently on this episode. Is that, for the most part, I've found that actual racists, real racists, they just hate because they hate.
Right.
And most of it isn't from white men. Some of it is.
Sean, you got to understand, dude. I mean, I don't mean you got to understand. I mean, you do understand that, those guys are a product of their environment.
Yes.
But, having lived in Africa for 2 or 3 years in Kampala and Somalia before it was a shithole, and Sudan and
Before?
places like that, it gives you an insight that people are people. You know what I mean? There's
Yes.
there's 2 or 3% bad apples. They didn't want me around in Kampala and stuff, but there was 95% of them that were like, "Hey, bruh,
What's up?
hey, we're having a cookout at the house." They called it a braai or something. "Hey, we're having a cookout. Come on over."
brother,
You know
you've
what I
got
mean?
me intrigued.
And I gotta say that's universal. And if
Well,
you're
I think we
and
should
if you're born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, and you've never been outside your county, you don't have the benefit of that.
I would absolutely agree with that, and I would put that for anybody in any state or of our 46 states and 4 commonwealths. If you've never traveled outside of your county, you've never seen America, you don't understand
You don't not
America.
understand. Yeah,
Right.
and I would even venture to say if you're in Mobile, Alabama, you don't understand Des Moines, Iowa. You don't understand Flint, Michigan. You got no point of reference, dude.
I my second
Hard,
marriage. I
hard.
married a girl who had never
Uh-oh.
left Johnson County, Indiana.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and all of a
Uh-oh.
sudden, I'm like, hey, I'm the pharmacy manager. I got a little bit of cash. I'm like, hey, let's go to fucking Mississippi. Hey, let's go up to Michigan and meet all my cousins. There's probably 60 of them you're gonna meet. Hey, let's go here. Let's go there. Like she had never literally left Johnson County, other than to go into Indianapolis, which is Marion County, in her
Yeah,
entire 30 years on the planet,
yeah,
and had no idea. And I told this story to you,
right.
Paul, but JC may have never heard this. I took her up to Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes,
Yeah,
which Indiana borders. I said, this is
Yes.
your state. This is Indiana. And she goes, holy shit, it looks like the ocean. I was like, because it is an ocean.
No, it
It's a
is.
freshwater ocean. It's huge. It's humongous. And it was literally 2 hours away from you. All you
And
had to
she
do was
couldn't
get in
get
your
there.
car and point it
yeah.
north.
And just drive to it. Yeah.
With half a tank of gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
Oh,
bag full
yeah.
of Doritos and two 64 ounces of Pepsi.
I'm a coffee sipper, so I just in the car at least. So I just get a coffee and a 12-ounce coffee, and I just sip it. We're there. So, but yeah, whatever. I do want to get through some of the list of bullshit that's happened this week. A lot, insane amounts of bullshit. So the Atlantic drops a hit piece on Kash Patel, and then Kash Patel turns around with Blanche, the acting AG, and drops a hit on Southern Poverty Law Center. And you go, well, are the two things tied together? No, not from Cash's point of view, but from the Atlantic. Of course, they have to
Of course
attack
they are.
Cash, right?
And let me say this. I'm no Blanche fan, but he seems like an old line Democrat as opposed to a progressive. So he's as good as we're gonna do. I hope he gets the job. I mean, they're not locking up the assholes as quick as I'd like, but if he can bring indictments against SPLC, he's okay by me. Because Bondi would never ever do that. Because Susie would think it would make us look bad. I have issues with what's going on. You know that.
All right. Do you want to air your grievances on Susie Wiles?
I mean, it's just too much rhino. It's just too much rhino. I mean, she's an establishmentarian, and I understand that she knows where the money is and everything else. All you need to know about Susie is that there was a deal arranged in Texas that if Cornyn was able to eke out a small majority in the primary, that Trump would demand that Paxton drop out and endorse Cornyn.
Cornyn just hit Trump again
Of
and
course he did.
said, "Hey, listen, I will not get through your new Fed chair. I will not in the Senate.
Who
It won't happen
who cares?
unless you stop prosecuting the current Fed chair."
See?
And the prosecution stopped.
Well, I mean, that wasn't just Cornyn, that was the Tillis, the asshole.
Yeah.
But the point is that Cornyn and Tillis, you flip a coin, they're the same thing.
No, I don't disagree. But again, when he comes down to the chief of staff of the president, who would you have it be? Trump prefers Susie. I'm not advocating for Susie.
Let me
I'm
tell you who
saying Trump says, like, everybody listen to fucking Susie because
you asked me for a name, and I'm going to give you one. Rick Grinnell.
interesting.
That's my chief of staff.
Interesting.
Yes,
Okay.
that guy gets things done. All right. Even when he's in interim
Wait,
somewhere,
what?
all of a sudden shit starts to happen.
The
All right?
guy from CPAC?
The
Rick
CPAC
Grinnell?
guy? Is that what you're saying?
I don't care if he went to CPAC. I just like him because when he's in place, things happen, and all of a sudden documents surface, and all of a sudden we're able to name names and we're able to get scoops. Susie's got it locked down tight, and La Savita and Susie are corrupt. Sorry, they just are. Raheem on that one is right. They sell appointments. They sell endorsements. That's what they do.
Look, I'm not a La Savita fan either, but Paul, what, let's go back to Susie Wiles. I don't really have a problem with her.
Okay.
And here's why is for me is because the White House operates on a timely fashion very
It
quickly.
does.
Things happen. Trump gets wherever he needs to go
That's right.
quickly,
Okay.
and that's her job.
Do you
And yes, she will sideline. She will stiff arm people. And
Yeah.
say,
do you remember
now
you
is not
remember
your
my
time.
my background? Do you know where her corporate connections are?
Oh, I don't disagree that you would look at that
Pfizer.
like everyone would look at that and go, "Well, this
Pfizer.
doesn't work." Right?
Pfizer. Yeah.
Well,
And you notice that
didn't
Bobby
she always do that for Pfizer too?
well,
Yeah,
Bobby went through that.
I mean,
Paul,
come
come
on, fellas.
on now. You're a Clinton Democrat. You're a JFK Democrat. I know that. Bobby jumped through all the hoops. He arranged everything. He did everything he was supposed to do to reconstitute that vaccine committee, to make these appointments, to do this. They followed the science. I mean, what a concept, right? And they didn't try to redefine terms. They didn't try to redefine terms and all that stuff. And then here we are, 72 hours away from disclosing their autism findings and their vaccine recommendations, and bingo, a judge rules that the whole thing is bullshit, a liberal judge, and quashes it, and it's gone. I'm telling you.
Wait.
Paul, what is the
We traveled. I thought we were talking about Susie Wiles.
we were, but she's Pfizer. What is the benefit to playing by the rules? What is the benefit to going through all the hoops and making sure that you follow process? Because in the end, the liberals still do it, and they've got enough sympathizers to stiff arm us. That's what she is. Listen,
Okay.
I'm a healthcare guy.
I got one.
And
I got one word for you, JC, and I know you know this. The word is ethics.
On who? Bobby?
On these transactions, you've got to be ethical. And
Okay,
from what
you're gonna need to say a little more. I mean, if you follow all the procedures, how much more play by the rules? How much more ethical you need to be?
Well, so my suggestion is some of the rules that have been made tend to lend itself to unethical procedures. And I think it's by design, JC. I
Well,
think
no,
they
I'm sure
do
you're
that
right.
so that there's loopholes. You know what I mean? They do it on
Yeah,
purpose
no,
so that there's
I know
loopholes they
exactly
can
what you
jump through, like Ilhan Omar, well, whatever. But
Good point.
No, I mean, Paul, I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'm not going to talk about what I think about Omar and why she has a free pass. All right, but
yeah,
in
he's not
terms
getting
of
a free pass, bro.
hey, listen, the biopharmaceutical complex is every bit as corrupt as the MIC, every bit.
It's all
And
corrupt.
I know they're all corrupt, but the point is, you actually do everything right. You got the Maha moms behind you, and you're all about it. And you're going to reformulate this. You reconstitute this committee. I mean, even Robert Malone says, "Screw it, screw it." You know what? There's no way to reform this. There's no way. So he goes ahead and quits.
Oh,
And
are you
seriously,
talking about
as a
Dr. Robert
healthcare
Malone?
as a healthcare professional, it's disgusting, and I can tell you that I can trace it back to her.
Are you talking
And
about Dr. Robert Malone?
yeah,
Yes. Okay. And did you see his daughter? Hold on. This is a sidebar, but his daughter put out a video that he's medically injured because of what was it? Depression medication.
Depression
yeah.
medications, but yeah, it was Effexor and one other one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so they're gonna say he's crazy.
They're saying he's injured right now.
All right.
That's what the story is out of his daughter. I followed the daughter. We'll see if there's updates. I couldn't tell you anything. I do want to get into another thing that the media obviously
It's in my room on the wall.
has made it they're super easy, right?
help.
We
20 minutes.
we'll just ask questions of Trump, and
This was
and we'll get him to say things so that we can absolutely just push our narrative. And here's what I've got both of you guys back now.
If you want to testify as someone who's been vaccine
Yeah.
injured, I got a seat for you.
hey
Yeah,
JC,
yeah.
who's your pal?
Yeah, you're welcome to get him a chair from the kitchen.
No, he's actually a vax injured guy, and we talked about having him on the show before. He's actually a friend of mine, and he's here to help me with
He's
some stuff.
actually a friend of yours. That's the
I know there's
qualifier.
less than 5, brother. I mean,
Yeah,
most of my friends are dead.
We
You
will
guys
totally change. The doom scroll is screwed. Get him a chair from the kitchen. Let's get this shit going. Let's talk to him. What's
Let's
his
go,
name?
Sean.
His
Way to
name
do it,
is
bro.
Wesley. You've actually heard him before, because that Saturday night 3-hour deal with Edward with Evil Eva, he was one of the callers.
Ah, Wesley. Awesome.
Okay, I'll put him in my chair. He'll say hello. All right, Sean. There you go. Over here. All right.
What's up, Wesley? Tell.
Hello. How are you?
Tell him to go.
Hey
grab a
man, how's
chair.
it going?
Tell him to go grab a chair because I'm going to start asking.
He said this is the finest studio he's ever seen.
That's right. Yeah, it's also the only one
Tell John.
outside of radio.
Tell John to go grab a couple of beers and a chair for himself. I've got questions. Your
He's
vaccine.
moved all of his chairs.
Yeah, still there's no room for anything in here.
Your vaccine injured. Explain to me what your injuries are.
Well, I mean, can I 100% prove that? No, but there's a lot of strange stuff that's happened since I got it. First of all, I got 2 of them. I got a month apart. The first one was so bad that I really thought I was going to die. I mean, I got it on a Sunday, and it was, I had just started a new business project, and I was supposed to drive about 2.5 hours the next day. And I ended up putting it off until the end of the day because I was so sick I couldn't really function. So it was bad enough that I prayed to God. I said, if you'll let me live, I'll start back to church. And I go back to church now because of that. That's how sick it made me. So I got past it and like, well, that stuff can happen. So a month later, I did the follow up. And
And
I went
so
back now.
you're talking about the follow up. The follow up would be what, a COVID
Yeah,
vaccine, or
COVID,
was
like
it
the second
something
one.
else?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
COVID. This was in August of 21 and then in September of 21. And the reason I did the second one was that we were going on a family trip to New York City, and I wanted to be able to take my 16-year-old daughter up into the buildings, and you had to have be up to date on the vaccines to do that. So that's why I did it. So then when we got there, they said that if you were over 12 in New York State, you had to have the vaccine to go in any public buildings. And I said, so you have to like risk the life of your child to go on a tourist attraction? And he said, I don't like it any more than you do. What I found around New York was that the cops, the guards, all of those people were 100% against all of the madness and the nonsense. And that was early on in 2021. I'm sure it's way worse now. So yeah, my parents they had both done the vaccine and had adverse effects. And but with me, I have I'm past a lot of this stuff now. I don't know if I just timed out, but I have a lot of I have been through some heart problems, some anxiety issues, some stuff like that I never had before. And I mean, I'm past all of that now, but I have to do a lot of extra stuff just to feel normal, to feel good. So yeah, I 100% think the vaccine hurt me. Like I said, I can't 100% prove it, but I think that it did.
Well,
So,
it's your word against their word, right? And that's what, when you look at Secretary Kennedy's like, hey, wait, we've got a lot of words that people like you are saying, and it was never recorded, or that VERS, right? JC, you can yell from the background, VERS, the reporting system.
No, I mean, the first I ever heard that VAERS should be ignored was with COVID. That was one of many firsts
mhm.
during COVID, where all of a sudden natural immunity doesn't work as well as vaccines. I'm like, what? I mean, why do we ever have chickenpox parties?
It's because natural vaccine doesn't pay very well.
Exactly.
Natural immunity doesn't pay very well.
That's right. That's
Well,
right. And I
you,
mean, I've even heard that little ferret Dr. Science say that we haven't monetized the flu like we should. I'm like, what? Monetize the
Yeah,
flu? What is wrong with you?
it's a growth industry.
well,
Oh no, they didn't make any mistakes with COVID, right?
Anson
They
didn't.
monetize that. As I've said out loud, and I'll say it again, Pfizer made $100 billion in 2022. $100 billion profit, not revenue, profit. That is 437 million. Oh, well, I'm sorry, 227 million for each of 435 congressional districts. And the SPLC can buy the Klan for 2,700 or what 27,000 or whatever it was.
270 grand.
All right, 270 grand. Okay,
dude.
I
Keep
mean
up.
the Chinese got Biden for less than 50 million. And you mean you serious? And then I'd have these. I'm sorry, I'm going to start cursing, but these public employees on Twitter telling me not everybody can be in on it, not everybody can be paid off. I'm like, no, you clowns are cheap. I mean, of course you're all paid off. Are you joking? Where the hell does your funding come from? And of course, then I need a new account. Anyway,
Other than Trump, Nixon, and Lincoln, in the last 150 years, who hasn't been paid off?
well, listen, we're talking about racial hoaxes. I mean, that shit's been going on forever. All they ever did was switch how they did it.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
we're going, yeah, we're going to
I don't
Juicy
know that
Small.
I don't know that Nixon was actually a racial hoax, but they still
Well, it
got him.
was, that was they didn't like the fact that the war ended.
Oh,
That's
wait. All right, I just recalled something. FDR. FDR solved. He solved the Great Depression. No, he made it worse.
no, he made it worse.
Sean, pace yourself, bro.
The war spending solved it, and then all of a sudden we ended up the last man standing, and there was no industrial base anywhere else, and the West said, "My God, they're going to dominate all of us."
Listen, the New Deal is the model, is the literal model of what the American West left is using now is tax the rich.
Yes,
That was
it's
the New
the
Deal, tax the rich.
Sean. It's the same playbook, time after time after time. It's just a variation of the same thing. When you heard that the SPLC was paying those guys off, the only rational response was, "Of course they are." I mean, the demand for racism is way above the supply.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
And by the way, if you want to shake money out of people, as I've said, convince everybody they're going to die, and if they don't believe in God, they'll go crazy. All right.
Well,
And
I told you a couple months ago with my aunt in her 80s, right, who believes her TV. Right. She sent me a text one night, and I had a good back and forth with her. It was an honest, good conversation from a Marxist leftist woman in her 80s, and me as a conservative. And she sent me a text one night, and she goes, and then I obviously had a from Cause, the Daily Cause, KOZ, the Daily
yes, of
website,
course.
and about the deportations. I bet you just want to deport every black and brown person. And I said, yeah, and white person, aunt, and white person who broke into our country illegally.
Who's
And then I
illegal?
continued with my text and said, you know who gets more pissed about that than me? Is Paul's wife and other people who have legally become citizens in the
Yep.
United States.
Yeah, those are the
And I
most
sent that
hardcore.
back to her.
Period. That's why. You want to talk about the barrier that Trump broke. He proved the Karl Rove school totally wrong. That the way to attract Latin voters is to open the border. No, the way to attract Latin voters is to enforce the border and make sure that everybody follows the same rules they did to get here. Because you
Patrick
can't.
Bet David 2 weeks ago said, listen, keep the borders shut down. My family came here legally. I am proof of the American dream. I became rich inside of this country as a citizen legally.
Right.
Well, John's a pharmacist. Imagine if suddenly, he went to school, whatever it was, 8 or 10 years. So he makes a decent living as a pharmacist back when he did that. But imagine if there was a faction of people that just became pharmacists because they somehow stole the certification and they could do it. I mean, do you not think the pharmacists that went to school would be pissed off about it?
Hey, Wes,
Oh, absolutely.
they call that H-1B. That's what they call it.
Oh, yeah.
They've got little colleges in hotels in LA where they've got Indians hold up 20 guys to a room and they're teaching them basic coding. Yeah, no shit. And they pay them 40 grand and they'd have to pay an American kid 170 and they don't want to do that.
Right.
And that's why Larry Fink loves DEI, because the DEI quotas weren't filled with the blacks we want to help. They were filled with Indian scum. All All right. Anyway, go ahead and print that.
Well,
What
it's
I
hey
find,
Paul.
what I,
Oh no, so go ahead, Wesley.
no, what I find interesting about racism and people being anti-black and so forth, and so you see a lot of people that say they're held back because they're black. And I've been around some, and I have seen that, especially down in the deep south. But what I find interesting is that you have these people that come over from Africa. They're the same black as everyone else, and they just become doctors and they become scientists and they become whatever. They're very smart. They're probably better than, I mean, they're in the top 5%. And the difference has nothing to do with their skin color. It has to do with that they were never taught to be a victim. They were never taught that they were a victim. They were being held back. They were, it was an opportunity instead of like an obstacle. And so, I mean, whites are the same way. I mean, I've run into situations where I've noticed that I was, being a victim, and I stopped it, and I'm like, well, I would always rather be a victor. But when you have these people that are constantly, I mean, I know some black people that have achieved a lot, and they absolutely despise the lies of
The left.
that racism and and all of that. They just they're like, well, I mean, obviously to some degree that probably exists, but it's not a part of my life. I don't care anything about it. Yeah. How? And if they had someone if they had a white person that was racist against them, they would just say, oh, that's some kind of uneducated hick. I couldn't care less what they think. So that's
By the way, Wesley, if you guys want to meet Missouri mules, you've got two right here. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you'll have to
Definitely
drop it. John, you'll have to drop it. Does he have an X handle? You'll have to drop it in the comments so people can follow
Okay.
Wesley.
All right.
That being said, I want to ask, move on real quick and ask a question. We're about 13 minutes from closing this out.
All right.
Paul,
I'll keep quiet. He's doing
I'll let you
good.
have your
well,
seat.
no, I'm moving on. It's specifically because the world is becoming AI, and I want to ask Paul specifically: did your company buy a 10 stack of Mac Minis for the GPUs to put together to run your own instance of your AI that you guys use, or are you renting space somewhere else like at X, or you don't have to tell me where, but or at Google or at Meta
No,
or
we're not.
whatever?
No, we're not using that. We've got a proprietary system
You know
that
that
we
that's
purchased
why I'm asking.
that's behind the firewall, so it's not exposed to.
Did you bought a 10 stack of Mac Minis to run it?
Yeah,
Then?
a 10 stack. Right, that's exactly right. Yep.
Okay, and that's why there's actually a global outage of being able to purchase Mac
That's
Minis
right.
because companies like Paul's and many other companies are like, we have an AI agent. We've developed a really great AI agent, but we can't let it out to the public because obviously China will steal it and Google will steal it
Yeah,
and
we're
Facebook will
totally
steal
behind
it.
the firewall, and it's very affordable. It's like 3,300 a year per user, and um, it has exponentially accelerated our pipeline and our way to analyze the task on each program, and identify our gaps and whether we need a partner and if it's got to be a woman owned or veteran owned or, that kind of stuff. Stuff that used to take me weeks to do.
Hmm.
Literally, I get done in 90 minutes.
Right.
Sean, it is as hard as this may be to believe. This is probably the last word I'm going to say tonight because Wes is my AI guy. He has fed me AI products of client lists and all the rest of the stuff. He's been buying products from all these different people and gets and they sort and create, through a click funnel, where they create the people that are actually interested in salon services. So no, he seriously is hip deep in this stuff.
Well,
So go.
let's get Wes in here. Again, Apple being the only ones with apparently popular with the GPU chips necessary to do AI. People are doing stacks of Mac Minis to do
Yeah.
instances of AI
Yeah.
that are not necessarily connected to the internet. Wes, step in here. What are we missing?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that method. Everything that I use is using commercially available AI agents that are out and about. In fact, I watched 3 hours yesterday and 3 hours today. It ended up being a disappointment, but I was,
Sure.
something that's going to become an agent. I'm not going to do it. But
That's why he's here, because he didn't think he was available until they disappointed him. So there you go.
yeah, I was gonna be tied up tomorrow, and I decided I'm not doing it tomorrow. So
All right.
Paul, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a hard stop. I got a call with the Philippines. It's first thing in the morning over there.
Yep.
I got to meet with my team, so I'm going to bow out right here.
Yeah, go. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and bow out. We'll go just a little bit longer.
Okay,
but,
you guys have a great
Paul,
weekend.
Good to see you. Well,
Hey, good,
hopefully
Paul.
we see you on the next one.
Yep, for sure. See ya.
Awesome. So what Paul was talking about, and what I'm talking about though, is people do this stack. They take 10 Mac Minis and they just stack them, and so they can use the GPU compute out of those
right,
things and use that to create. And they might use Claude, or they might use Gemini, or they might use use the APU or API from X or whatever. But they're using that for the GPU compute to create their own agent to do something like call center, or like you name it, like whatever they have to do for work. They're creating their own AI, and that's where the hardware problem I was talking about ends up being is that Apple said, "Well, shit, we're out of these things. You guys
yeah.
bought them all." So,
It's the CPU is absolutely extremely important for it, because what I had heard someone say was that they had AI several years before they released it because they didn't have the infrastructure to run it. They had the software, it would do it, but they did not have, I mean, they're building. I was out in Vegas a couple months ago. All around there, they're building data centers, and they're putting up solar panels. I mean, entire hillsides are solar panels, so they can pull in the juice to run this stuff. They're talking about they're going to have a water shortage, and they already have a water shortage. Water is very expensive in that area, and it's going to be a lot more. And they say, well, water is renewable. It's in and it's out. It's like, yeah, but when it's held in a battery for 5 years, it's not in and out. It's taken
Right.
in and it's held, and
That's
that's
true.
all stuff that's going to happen. So they had to figure out a way to desalinize seawater in order to really do a lot of. So I mean, you would think they would be building some of this stuff closer to the coast, but
Right. And Sean, just let me say, the Lords of Easy Money would like to take our water, but they should get their own from the oceans, because they all have these ocean bunkers and all the rest of this. I mean, come on, man. I mean, there's the water. What are you doing? Why do you want to take that?
you guys are both right, but like I've also seen, just because I'm a fan of watching this, or what I don't know what you call it. I'm an observer. I'm watching it, right? And um, they absolutely, some of these companies are saying, yeah, if you let us build, we'll desalinize the water, and then
Right.
we'll give a certain percentage back into the system that's
Right.
just
And
clean drinking
we'll
water.
build our own little nuclear reactor, and we'll power
Yeah,
ourselves.
the mobile nuclear reactors
You
for
should ask
sure.
for the moon on this shit. Absolutely.
Look, and then when you here's the thing, JC. When you look at this, like, and all the people that want to block it, Bernie Sanders, why do you think Bernie Sanders wants to block AI? Because this will give people true economic freedom that he
Sean,
claims.
you just said it. Bernie Sanders is a communist. I mean, economic freedom is the last thing that he wants people to have, right? And I mean, even
Yeah.
Tony Katz can figure that out. Yeah.
So you know what Bernie did? You know the uncovering of what Bernie's biggest coup in his life is, correct? Or do you not? Because I had someone on the radio explain exactly what they had done. Well, in the United States, so you can't profit from campaign money, but you can hire who you want to be your campaign director. So what he did, I mean, I used to sell radio advertising. I have friends that sell TV advertising, and you make anywhere from 15 to 17.5% of your spend. So what he did, he hired his two kids, and he spent about $200 million. That's why he kept running for president. So they could spend, at last count, they had spent $200 million in campaign advertising, and his kids got $30 million because they were the administrators. They were the ones who got the commission. It was all legal.
Bravo.
Communism pays. Communism
Yep.
pays. It does.
Bravo.
Yep. You don't have to
Bravo.
be the
You know what?
capitalist. You have to be the communist that puts the people in charge.
Wesley, do you think that Bernie would have won had the Hillary Democrats not stolen election from him, a primary
I think
from
he would
him?
have. I think he would have won the Democratic nomination. I don't think he could have won overall.
I don't know.
JC, Don, do you
Listen,
do you think
Sean,
he would have won if it was Bernie and Trump or
I
Hillary and Trump?
love Wesley, but I think Bernie would have won. I do. I mean, okay, anyway, Hillary was hated and Trump beat her by 40,000 votes. I mean, that's razor.
I think the reason that they wanted Hillary or they wanted Bernie to bow out was because in the debates he would uncover too much stuff on Hillary. I don't think he could have actually. I don't think he would have beaten Hillary, and I don't think he would have beaten Trump because he's too crazy. I mean, in the end, he is too crazy. I mean, you can't get him to act right long enough to get through the church service. You just can't do it.
I'm not trying to fight with my friend, but I will tell you this. No one believes that Hillary beat Sanders in the California primary.
Well,
Nobody.
no. It's a podcast. We're having a debate.
No. But I mean,
No.
nobody believes that, and no one should believe that. That was Democrats trotting out their rigging of elections, and they stole that election from him. And you know what? Give Bannon his due, the dog himself with fleas, but give him his due. He says, hey, he didn't fight. If he would have fought, he could have won. But he knew the price was too high, so he took the mansions. Sorry, Bernie's a capitalist after all.
Yes, listen. I think he got a good deal. I think Swalwell got the bad deal out of this.
That guy?
Right? Bernie got a great deal. Bernie's like they're like, listen, dude. We'll give you another really incredible mansion. All you gotta do is quit.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is quit.
Screwed. Yeah.
He'll get someone to pay it off. Or we'll take care of them. Where the body's buried.
Well,
Swalwell is no longer useful.
Well, great. He dropped out. Where's the DOJ?
Yeah. Hey, how many times did we ask that?
What was the question?
Where's the Department of Justice? Swalwell. Oh, come on. Yeah. Pelosi had his back until she didn't. Yeah.
Well,
He felt the Biden knife.
She protected Adam Schiff. Russia. Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi protected Adam Schiff.
Oh yeah. Now Swalwell's a dog with fleas, just an absolute scumbag. And think about the fact that all those pictures of him in riding those camels. I mean, how appropriate, right? But riding those camels over in the Indian desert with Ruben Gallego, and now Gallego is just beside himself with fear. His campaign manager, yeah, you did every single thing Swalwell did. You dick.
I know. All right, let me go back to where I was going with AI. So Meta's
All right, go ahead,
slashing.
Wes.
Hold on, Meta's slashing 10%. That's 8,000 jobs. Nike